Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is from the incredible mind of Peter Harrison over on Reddit No Sleep. As ever, please do let me know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help build the channel and our community further. And why not hashtag TeamFEAR and DMT's Cryptid crew. And so, with that aside, let's get into tonight's story, entitled My GPS was hacked by malicious forces. Now I am stranded in the woods, and I am afraid there is no escape. Let's get straight into that. My GPS was hacked by malicious forces, and they are common. I see the lights of their torches approaching, and I don't have much time left. Their demonic song chills me to the bone, and I am afraid of what will happen if they get their hands on me. If someone finds this note, tell Rachel that I am sorry I won't see her again. Tell my parents what happened too. Now I am stranded in the woods, and I am afraid there is no escape. Let me start from the beginning. I dropped Rachel back at her home close to midnight. It was early fall and the leaves were starting to change. As she left the passenger side of the car, a strong wind blew her hair across her face. I had a lot of fun tonight, I said. Yes, she smiled. Tonight was really nice. See you next weekend. I tapped my steering wheel in anticipation. Of course. See you then. She closed the passenger door and blew me a kiss. We met by accident at a mutual friend's party and really hit it off. It had been a long time since I had been on a date. After 7 years of being with my high school sweetheart, I almost forgot how to talk to women. But Rachel seemed really lovely. Everything was practically perfect, except for the fact that she lived over an hour from where I lived. She lived in a weird part of the state I was unfamiliar with, and I had to drive through the woods and farmland to get to a small town. I didn't mind though. I found the rural drive to be rather quaint. I had to travel through a complicated network of long winding roads to get there, and finally arriving in the quaint small town where she lived. Tonight we went to see one of our mutually favourite comedians. We had gone on several dates. Sometimes we hiked around near her small town, or sometimes I took her to the big city to party. We had a wonderful time, and even a long drive back to her house was not too bad since we talked the entire way. I watched her as she returned to her house. I sat there giddy with anticipation of our next date. Okay, only an hour to get home. I took out my GPS and typed in my home address. I looked at the clock and noticed that it was 12:45 a.m. Jesus Christ, I said. I backed the car out to the driveway and followed the directions of the GPS. Everything about the drive was unfamiliar in the dark. In the daytime I was practically useless without my GPS, but in the pitch darkness of night, I was totally reliant on it. If my phone were to lose battery, I would be stranded until morning. As I drove through the trees, each one seemed to look identical to the last. Turn left in 2 miles, said the GPS. Really? I said. I took a left and continued down that road. It didn't seem like the right turn to make, but I supposed I was clueless, and the GPS knew what it was doing. It looked like the rest of the drive, and so I didn't question the GPS. And I continued for a while longer, traversing the complex twists and turns of the rural wooden roads. And driving at night was almost hypnotic. I enjoyed being alone with my thoughts as I went through the trees. And after a while, I glanced down at the time and noticed that it was 1:30 in the morning. What the hell? I said. I should be out of the woods and near civilization by now. I pulled the car over to look at my map, and I wondered if I had put in the wrong address, but I saw that the destination was still my home. The map said that I had about 45 minutes until I was back. I put my phone back and concluded that the GPS must have taken me a different way. I was mildly annoyed at the extension of my journey, but continued driving in that direction that the GPS took me. I felt further from civilization now than I ever had before. There were no houses, no lights, and it was just me and my car, alone on the dark roads at night. In front of me all I saw was a short stretch of road and the trees. As I drove, it seemed like these twists and turns would continue endlessly. 15 minutes passed, and my destination still was 45 minutes away. 30 minutes passed, and I was still no closer to civilization. According to my GPS, by the time I should have been home, I was still deep in the unknown woods of the small road. "Well, that's enough," I said. I pulled over and grabbed my phone. I opened an alternative GPS and entered my home location. It showed me where I was and said it was an hour and a half to get home. "Jesus Christ," I said. "I've been going in the wrong direction this whole time." The new GPS app told me that I could loop around a small side of the road in about 2 miles and then go back in the direction of my home. I continued forward into the night. When I had arrived at the loop, I turned into a small dirt road. It was supposed to loop around and cut back the other direction, but as I continued to drive forward, it became apparent that the road was straight and not curved. "Oh, that's it," I said. Whatever was going on with my phone, I knew that it was simply not working. There was one bar of service, so I decided the best thing I could do was to call Rachel or one of my parents so maybe they could help find me. I clicked on my phone app, but it wouldn't open. And every time I clicked the little green icon, the phone screen glitched and returned to normal. I then tried to open my text app. The same thing happened. One by one, I clicked on app icons to try and open them, but I was met with the same thing. Nothing. I reset my phone to no avail. I concluded that my phone was busted. I decided to try my best to retrace my steps, and worse, I could sleep for a few hours until I hit daylight. I tried to turn around on a dirt road but realized there was a problem. The road was too small for a complete 3-point turn, and the trees were too close to the road for me to pull off to the side. I knew that my only options were to drive in reverse on a dangerous dark street or drive forward until I found an appropriate place to turn around. I decided to continue forward. I pressed forward into the night, with the road becoming increasingly narrow. It seemed like there was nowhere for miles where I could turn around, and there were no driveways or even a single sign of life. And I began to breathe heavily. "Calm down," I said. I pulled the car into reverse and started to back slowly down the mountain road. I decided that my last resort was hitting reverse until I got back to the previous route. It was treacherous, but I knew that that was the best option. I checked and saw that my gas was starting to deplete. I had a good quarter tank, but I was nervous that it would run out and become stranded. It seemed like there was no other option but to try to get off this dirt road. Slowly but surely, I crept back the way I had came on the dark mountain road, and after about 15 minutes of this, I first heard what sounded like music. Initially, I thought it was a distant animal or river, but I soon was able to make out the sound of drums and horns. It sounded like a demonic march and with elements of a tonal harmony, all held together by a standard rhythm. I thought that I had lost my marbles, so I got out of the car in the night and tried to catch my breath. Outside my car, the music was louder, and I saw the faint glow of fire in the distance. "Get a grip," I said. I slapped myself in the face, trying to regain a semblance of sanity, but the music grew even louder and the glow grew brighter. I knew that I needed to get away from whatever was approaching, and so I got back into my car and stepped on the gas to go forward. I drove into the night away from that horrid music, screaming. I had no idea what was ahead, but I only hoped that this road would loop around and I could get away from that. Soon, the glow seemed as if it were all around me, and I swore that the music was no longer to my rear but came from all angles. No matter, I just needed to keep on moving. Ahead there was a bend in the road, and I slowed down to not fall off the side. As I pulled my car around the bend, I saw them. In front of me, there were 100 people dressed in animal masks waiting for me. Some held torches, while some played instruments, and behind them was a massive wooden object that resembled a bear. There was a cell midway up the bear's body, with ladders leading to it, and I knew that that bear was where I would be placed if I did not escape. I leapt out my car and ran down the side of the hill. There was only one direction to my right without the glow of flames, and I knew that that was where I needed to head. and I ran through the darkness, struggling not to hit my head on a branch, and behind me the music grew louder, and I knew that they were in the woods looking for me. I ran for what felt like forever until I lost my footing and fell to the ground. My ankle is sprained or broken. I don't know what it is, but I can't move it. There is no way I will escape. But I am writing this letter, hoping that somebody will find it and share it with others. Please, tell my parents and siblings I love them. Tell Rachel that I wish things could have gone differently. My name is Redacted. Rachel's last name is Redacted. And my parents are Redacted and Redacted. Please, tell them how I died and warn others about whatever presence is in the woods that may wait for them. I know now whatever wanted me to come out here hacked my phone and led me into a trap. There is no escape now. The letter ends there. I found this crumpled piece of paper as I was hiking through the woods and decided to share it to warn others. I blanked out the family's names for anonymity and contacted them about the affair. There is an ongoing investigation to figure out what happened, but I have washed my hands of the matter. All I know is that I am never trusting my GPS again. Wow. Certainly another one. Wow. Chest pounding, and what a refreshing take on a horror story there. From the incredible mind of Peter Harrington, over on Reddit No Sleep. A huge thank you, Peter, for allowing me to narrate this incredible story on the show. Really did enjoy this, and I certainly look forward to more of your work in the future. And of course, I hope you enjoyed my rendition. Well, guys and girls as ever, you know the drill. Please do let me know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help build the channel and our community further. Why not hashtag TeamFEAR and DMT's Cryptid Crew. If you're an aspiring writer, why not get in touch with myself at the brand new contact email, which is, as on screen, contactthedeadone@gmail.com. I really look forward to hearing from you. Firing up all cylinders on the engine, guys, getting back into the swing of things. Time to start pumping out the content. Got lots of exclusive lined up, and I'm building together quite a special show for the Halloween special, and of course the 40k mark special. Make sure you got your notifications set to all notifications to stay up to date with all content and posts in the channel, as they will be coming thick and fast as we elevate over the next few weeks. Of course, I hope you're all well and happy, fighting fit and taking that fight back to life and staying focused. But above all, guys, remember, be safe, not sorry.